Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of The Things You Can't Touch, the podcast where philosophy meets the real world. Join us as we touch on the things you can't quite put your finger on, but won't stop thinking about. And today we have such a very special guest. Like, I'm so excited. There's been so much planning that's gone into this episode. I'm just gonna allow her to introduce herself. You can drop your handles, etc., so that the audience can follow you.
Hi guys, my name is Emma Mku. I don't know what I would say, TikToker, content creator. And I'm so happy to be here.
We're so excited to find out what you have to say. Your content genuinely is very intriguing, and you touch on so many different topics that for me is just like, I need to probe her mind. I need to see, what,
we need to expand on that.
I need to expand on that. We need to unpack that. And it's just a thing where a lot of the time on social media, people usually just assume what you think. And I want to give you a longer period of time to talk. Because usually your clips are maybe like a minute long, etc.
Right. Attention spans as well.
Exactly. But this one, people who are really interested in philosophy and things of that nature are going to be able to get into it. Yeah. I'm not going to waste any more time. I'm going to ask you your question, which you don't know. Don't worry. There's nothing crazy. But the question is, can we ever unlearn what made us?
That's a good one.
Don't feel pressure to start speaking immediately.
Unlearn what made us. Can we ever unlearn what made us? I don't think so.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
I can hold space with that.
I think there's so much emphasis on learning, but I think the emphasis should be on becoming aware. Okay. I think not everything that we are made of in terms of I think things that people would close off as being like negative aspects, let's say from like traits that you've like picked up from your parents.
For example,
some of them don't necessarily show up as inherently bad. So I want to say you can, but that shouldn't be the focus. I think it should be more so like becoming aware of like what has happened to you, who it's now made you, and then being able to differentiate from, okay, if this is a negative thing, I'm aware of this, but it's not me. Do you know what I mean? But then as well, not demonize all the aspects of the things that have like made you, because I think we tend to do that a lot.
Especially in our community.
And that's the
thing that I'm going to touch on in a moment, but I really appreciate your answer. This is a good start. We're going to definitely circle back to this at the end, because I do have some thoughts on that. Not that I disagree with you, but not that I agree entirely, which is obviously what we're probing, so this is good. But yeah, I think I can definitely hold space with the fact that we can't unlearn. I think what we need to do now is break down the keywords in the question. So one of them will be to unlearn. What does that look like? And the second thing, which is more so about identity, culture, like just personality, which is what are these things that make us that we're trying to unlearn?
So what is it unlearn? Are we starting with what identity is or what unlearning is?
You can just pick whichever one you prefer.
Unlearning, that's the reason why I said no, or you shouldn't necessarily focus on that, because I feel like, to me at least, unlearning has such negative connotations. Do you know what I mean? In a sense of like it kind of gives the idea that like everything, or like not everything, but most things necessarily that like make us up as like a culture is inherently bad. And I feel like when you see it from from that angle, it's so easy, not me diving straight into the colonialism, but
as you should.
Do you know what I mean? It's so easy for it to just be like we need to stray away from this. We need to completely turn around and create our own like identity except from that. But I feel like it's like those should forever be the building blocks. It should never be it should be more of an unpacking than an unlearning.
Okay, so maybe the question in and of itself has the assumption that we should unlearn, because the question is, can we? And the underlying assumption to that question is, should we? And you're basically saying, before we even look at whether we can or not, it's about whether that is something that we should do, or like what exactly does that look like, or was it supposed to
exactly
look like?
that exactly
cool.
that.
I have like just a list of things. Like, we are influenced by our parents, our family, and I made a distinction between parents and family.
Okay.
Because our aunties, for example, have a different impact on us. Our siblings have a different impact on us than our parents do.
1000%.
And then I said religion, and then religious institutions, and then I also said school. Okay. So these are the things that I think impact us. And I wanted to ask, is it about being taught these things, or is it about absorbing these things? Is there even a difference?
Being taught and absorbing, I think absorbing happens passively. You know, I think it's more so just like, you know, what the argument of whether it's like nature or nurture, you know. So it's like, I think when it comes to like being in, like you said, all these like very these building blocks of who you are, your school, the people that you spend the most time, friends as well. So I think like, I think absorbing, you know, it's at a subconscious level, which is why, would I even, that's a great question. Now I'm rethinking, should I change my answer?
No, don't. Well, you're allowed to change your answer, by the way. But don't think I'm trying to catch you out or anything. It's genuinely just to see like, how did you get there? Or have you thought about all the possible factors? But we can hold on to that for now. And I guess part of me also wants to ask, whichever it is, are we to blame? Like, are we to blame for our thoughts, our beliefs, and our actions that come as a result of that? Or
on the people around us? Or
I think everything. Actions towards ourselves and actions towards other people.
I think people don't blame themselves enough.
I'm just gonna let you keep going because I like what you just said.
I think people don't blame themselves enough. And I think that's the problem. I think that's the problem. I think people are so quick to say, you know, like, this person is the way I was brought up, or like, you know, or like, then again,
this is because of my trauma. This is because of the school that I went to.
You know, what
about you? Maybe you're just not a good person.
What about you?
Maybe
like, I think it's such like a, especially, again, I'll give the example of like religion. When it comes to like, let's say like sins, it's like people are so quick to just be like, oh, it's the devil. Oh, I see. Sometimes you're an angry person and you need to go to therapy.
Wow.
The devil didn't do that to you. You did that to yourself. You know, so I think some people just don't take enough accountability. And that's the problem. As much as like I can very much acknowledge and appreciate the fact that all of these things outside of you subconsciously impact you, it's then for you as as a human being to be able to surface these things and take accountability for it and like, you know, show up differently for that. You know, you can't just keep saying, oh, when I was 5 my mom permed my hair,
and then that's the reason why
since then
I'm colorist.
Do you know?
That's why. And it's like, it's not good enough.
Do you know what I mean? This black girl took my pencil when I was in year 5.
Yeah, now I hate black girls for the
So now I don't chat to
I can't ever chat to a black girl.
I
can't lie.
heal.
You know, I understand. And it's up to you. It's your responsibility to do that. So you answered my question indirectly a little bit, which is, are we to blame for the way that we treat people as a result of the beliefs that we have absorbed or like learned by osmosis? Do you know what I mean? And the truth is, I think what you're saying is, it is. Like, it gets to a point where you're conscious enough. It gets to a point where you know, like, you know, what's right, what's wrong, I guess, and you start to build your own morality to some extent. And it's
and if you don't, that's a problem. If you don't, that's a problem.
Wow.
And I think the thing again is that not enough people do. Not enough people do.
That's the truth.
They just stop. They stop at being aware. Like, you know, we go on TikTok, you hear these things of, oh, narcissist, this one, now, oh yeah, growing up, my mom was a narcissist.
Just
so then now I'm like,
buzzwords.
Come on.
And now, like, what do you want us to do with that?
What should we do?
Not much. There's nothing.
There's absolutely nothing. Absolutely nothing.
And that's the thing. It's actually up to you. And I think I really hold space with that. I really like what you said, and I like the way that, like, the examples that you gave and the way you got there. Really good. Off of the back of that, I think I want to ask. That said, do you think we can generate our own beliefs, or do you think people just subscribe to belief systems that already exist?
I think we can, and I think people do.
Okay.
I think we can, and I think we should, but I don't think enough people do. Again,
as you should.
I think, you know, there's a lot of things that I think not enough people do. Today. Honestly, not enough people do. I think you definitely can, and I think that really should be the essence of life. Yeah. You know, I don't think you should be in this life just following what next man said. Yeah. Like, you know, like you're regurgitating these beliefs and these like ideologies, but hey, what do you think?
I want to put I'm so glad you asked me, because that's the perfect timing. I want to say something very quickly. I think that is exactly what is happening with religion. I think that is exactly what's happening with people who and it happens at our age. I don't know.
1,000%.
I think you're the same age as
19,
me.
20.
More, oh, crazy. 20. I'm 21. I don't know why I thought you were like older. But that is
how do you think I am?
Girl, I thought maybe you were 20. Not even because you look... Okay, not because you look older, but because your mind is so mature. And it seems like you've been
guys,
through
she's
a lot.
flowing.
It's too much, guys. No, the tension behind the camera right now. What do you put it? What was I saying? Yeah, religion. In that a lot of them, our age actually, you've turned to religion now, and a lot of the stuff you're saying, you're backing out. I'm going to use Christianity because that's the only one I'm familiar with. You're backing out Bible quotes. You're backing out this. You're saying, oh yeah, and whatever said this. You just heard your pastor say that. You just heard your parents say that. You just heard your friends say that. How many of these people have actually gone and done study for themselves? I don't know.
Right. It's just, I think, especially when, like, you know, when you have discussions with, so me personally, myself, I'm agnostic, I would say. Nice. But more of like a theist type of
I'm going to ask you about that later on. No, I'm not cutting you off, but I'm just saying, well, don't worry, we're going to unpack.
Right. So I feel like for me, whenever I have conversations with people about like the deconstruction, especially people of, you know, Christian faith, it's just more so I know exactly what you're gonna say. Yeah. Like I say what I'm gonna say, and I know exactly what you're gonna say, and I know exactly what point. It's like a script. Yeah. It's a script, and it's we've heard this before. It's like, come on, the cognitive dissonance.
Wow,
is insane.
Just for the audience, could you really unpack what that means and how you see that?
This is like my favorite phrase.
Okay, go
I love it because it's like it shows up in almost everything in life, right? So essentially, cognitive dissonance is like when you just have a perception already, and then you kind of see that from that lens. Yeah. So whatever, let's say like you already you don't like someone. Yeah. Whatever that person does, you're gonna be, why is she wearing those sliders?
Oh my gosh, why did she just walk that way?
Wait, like, no, did you see the way she moved her
why
hand?
did she look at me like that?
But why she
do you think she has a problem?
She must have a problem.
I can't lie, I think she has a problem.
That's it. Essentially,
bro, you don't
we
do
just did a role play of what cognitive dissonance is. Yeah. You have to understand it now. Yeah.
so essentially, you have a perception of someone, and because, like, you're already blinded by that perception.
It's basically like a bias. It's a bias. I was literally about to say that. It's basically a bias. It's like a full stop, like a bigger, like a massive stamp. Yeah. On the like whatever you already have mentally, whatever ideology you've internalized, you cannot see past that. Sorry. And anything that kind of makes you have that conflict, you shut down. Yeah. You shut down.
Oh my gosh, can we quickly just people are not gonna like what I'm about to say. We are not even past the first card that we talking. Okay, I want to hold space with what you said. I know I haven't really asked you about it, but you said you're like an agnostic theist. Like you're more leaning towards, so like you believe that God exists more or less.
1,000%.
There we go. And I think that's something that everyone needs to know, the audience. She believes that there is a God.
People always ask me this or like mistake it and like they're like, oh yeah, you don't believe it either.
Yeah.
And do you know one thing?
And the thing is, same, because I've also done some deconstruction myself.
Right.
And then suddenly
what would you say you are?
The comments. I'm a Christian.
Okay.
I believe in God, but my issue is with religion as a whole. And the structure. And the thing about Christianity is the only way I can be saved is by believing in Jesus Christ. So I must can I believe in Jesus Christ. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, and it's like if I grow up and that changes in the future, then so be it. But right now this is where I am. But that does not mean I cannot question religion as a concept. As soon as I question religion, people think, oh yeah, you don't believe in God, etc. Calm down. And this is why philosophy is so important. Open your ears, listen to the argument that is being made, and then form your judgment.
It's a cognitive dissonance.
Yeah,
It's the consistency.
Yeah, it is.
It's just, there is just kind of shot as soon as it's like, and do you know what it is as well? It's such a massive aspect of fear. When people are so afraid, you fear what you don't know.
Yeah.
And for you to deconstruct, you don't
have a clue.
There's not a book, there's not a manual,
Yeah.
there's not a preacher to tell you what to do, what direction
when you're
to go
deconstructing.
in. So when you don't have that strength within yourself to say, okay, I don't know where I'm going, but I'm still gonna go.
Yeah.
You're afraid. And seeing somebody now do what you're afraid of doing.
Yeah.
How dare you?
You shut down, you get angry, etc.
How dare you?
There's so many things that's coming to my mind. I just remembered I was supposed to say something and I didn't say it. What I was going to say is, despite the fact that I question the concept of religion and you are right now on an entire deconstruction journey, what I want to say to all of the religious people at home is, yourself and myself, not to say, in fact, I'm just going to say it, we are probably doing religion better than you are. And the reason why I'm saying that is because you cannot follow something blindly and claim to believe. You have to question. You have to know why you believe what you believe. And to all those people who are afraid to question, then I think that is the issue that you need to solve.
And can I just go circle back to what you said?
Please do.
You cannot follow blindly.
Thank you.
Blind, what's it called? Obedience.
Yeah.
Is one of the biggest indications of an abusive relationship.
Wow. No, I just want to sit in that and allow the people to really hear that.
Wait, let me say it again. Blind obedience is one of the biggest indications of an abusive relationship.
Yeah. And that doesn't just happen with people. You know, you have an abusive relationship with the religion that you are claiming to follow, and you have to heal from that, is what I want to say to these people.
You got to heal from it.
And it's funny because they're probably going to say the same thing to us. They probably think we have church hurt. They probably think that etc. whatever.
I have never had a bad experience in church. I grew up Catholic.
Oh my gosh.
Everybody minds their business. Yeah. Everybody minds their business.
Yeah.
You go in, you praise God, you come out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nobody's thinking, oh, what is she wearing? Oh, this auntie, this, that, and the third. Even when I went to, and this is another thing as well. I grew up, so as much as my family's Catholic, my mum has always been the Christian as like, you can find God anywhere, in any church. If you go into a church and you feel God's presence, that's it. So we've kind of like bounced about, you know, we've been in like Protestant churches and Church of England, and it's like, so I listen, I've got no beef with church at all. So it's so funny when like I state the fact that I've walked away from structured religion, and people's first thing is like, oh, bless you.
Oh my gosh, I hope you find God.
Oh,
I hope you find God again.
Guys, I'm fine.
Like, you know, she's good. Like,
I'm so
you know, she's
fine.
good.
Like, if anything, I'm even better now. Like,
Yeah.
can we actually circle back to what you said about we are, what was it?
I don't even have a
We're
clue.
more righteous, I want to say.
Yeah.
Because that is one
we're
thing.
doing religion better.
We're doing religion
I'm not going to
better.
say we're the best in God's eyes, but we're doing the actual religion better.
Right. Because, you know, when I like think of, like, if I was to say, imagine a pastor, right? And then imagine like a spiritual, like, Rasta man,
Okay,
right? And this is not even me saying like, oh, like spirituality is the right way to stand the third. We should touch on that. But
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's not me saying that, but it's just two different extremes.
Yeah.
What the image I have, maybe this is a bias, maybe this is cognitive dissonance, but the image I have of that pastor and the image I have of the spiritual man, I'm thinking the spiritual man is more righteous than any, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there's
More
so many,
humble,
those prosperity pastors, those, you know, the pastors that are gay on the low, you know, there's so...
The ones that are playing with children in the corner, the one that, your wife is not safe. Okay. But
they're hitting their wives.
They don't want to hear that one.
They're going on podcasts, they're saying,
Yeah.
you know, she was my last option.
Wait.
I don't really... Oh,
Wait.
you've not seen...
Wait, is that
She's
what's
not
happening?
She's not seen... Oh, yeah.
Is that...
Yeah. Men of God are going on platforms to embarrass their rib.
You know nobody deserves that.
Nobody.
Even the man who is saying that, you don't deserve it.
My jaw, I shouted.
Yeah.
What a lie.
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
What a lie.
Wait, no, that one is news to me. I just have to sit on that. I'm gonna steer the conversation because we can talk about this forever.
We could be on this topic forever.
I want to bring in someone called Karl Marx.
Right, okay.
He's a German philosopher, economist, sociologist. He's dabbled in quite a few. That's him.
Yeah.
And he basically said, men make their own history, but not under circumstances of their own choosing. And I think that is interesting when it comes to what we were talking about before in terms of the formation of beliefs. So ultimately, we as we sit here, we're making our own history, but we don't choose the environment that we're growing up in. But for me, it's like, does that mean that we're really making our own history then?
I mean, I think we do. Wait, can you read it one more time?
I can. Men make their own history, but not under circumstances of their own choosing.
I guess to a certain extent, there will forever be aspects of your life that are out of your control. Yeah. Like, you know, like you said, like your environment and like, but because I was going to say, like, the identity of being Black British. Yeah. Because I think that's a perfect example in a sense of we are currently dictating that and we're making that as we're going right now, our generation specifically. So I'm trying to think, like, would I say a large aspect of like the culture and the identity that we're making right now is out of our doing?
Do you know what's so interesting about the Black British identity? We're like, well, we're African, so in terms of that, we're like the first, second generation. Right. Even the Caribbeans, you're still early.
That's what I mean by we're currently making it. This is so us right now. Yeah,
that to me is actually so phenomenal. Mad. I know, like we are actually making.
This is Black history. British. This is the Black whole. Even if Home Office wants to tell me separate, this is Black British.
Right, because that's the thing, even Black people in Britain don't believe in the concept of the Black British identity, which is a whole conversation that exists outside of this. But I just wanted to just bring that up. It's really interesting, and it forms part of who we are and our experiences and how that leads to everything that we're talking about in this episode. But I'm going to now move on to another guy. He's French, Michel Foucault.
Okay, I've not heard of that one.
He's cool. He talks about power. Okay. And he actually mentions how power operates through institutions. And the thing that he says that I really like to hold on to is that not only is power negative, I don't entirely agree with that conclusion that power is negative. I don't think he wholly concludes that it's only negative, but he says that it also creates knowledge. And I think that aspect is very, very important, because I've done a lot of talking about this, how people like us, women, Black people, the working class who are underrepresented in the world of philosophy needs to step up. Because philosophy is a knowledge producer. Everything that you know came from philosophy. 1,000%. Even the biology, all the philosophers back in the day became biologists, they became chemists, etc., mathematicians. And a lot of them are interlinked. So that said, I just want to touch on the concept of how we need to contribute to that knowledge production, because in one of the other episodes I came to the conclusion that knowledge is not power, but power is knowledge.
Knowledge is not power, but power is knowledge.
Those who are powerful have the capabilities, the power, the abilities, the capacities to create what we now know as knowledge. Because philosophy has already concluded that we do not know anything 100%. So everything that everyone claims to know right now is basically what the most popular or most powerful person said is correct. Right. Do you know what I mean?
It's kind of just to even touch on that as well. I think when it comes to like deconstruction or being an atheist or anything beyond structured religion, people tend to like try and hold this space of being more right than like structured religion. But it's so laughable because it's kind of like the kettle calling the pot black. You don't know as well as next man. And I feel like we can never stand on facts per se. Like you said, it's just what the most powerful man said, and whatever like you then in that moment of your life resonate with most. But it's more so even facts itself. We used to think the earth was flat. That was a fact.
They used to sell cigarettes and say it's good for your health.
That was a fact.
There was a time when that was happening. And it's just a thing where I'm not even on an anti-intellectualism thing. Like I can never, I'm the opposite of that whole movement that's happening. But it's just a thing where we have to also interrogate our thought. Like I say this all the time.
1,000%.
We have to interrogate what we believe. Why do you actually believe that?
And
what
who told you to believe that?
Exactly.
What are they benefiting from you believing that? It's questions that not enough people ask again.
And that's the thing. People are always on the tip of, oh, it's not that deep. It's not that serious.
It's always that deep.
I promise you, it's
deep. Forever that deep.
It will always be that
my
deep.
favorite word is deep.
It will always
because
be
it's
deep.
always deeper. Like people try and make things like so like surface level in the sense of like, oh, you're deep in it. Oh no.
Yeah,
no,
it's that
deep.
And that's the reason why we end up in a cycle. And the concept of cycles, I think, is going to come up eventually.
Do you know what's so mad?
Yeah, please.
On like literally today, what like something has been like on my spirit is like cycle, like cyclical, because so many things in life are like literally a circle. Like it's a constant, like, you know, I think even human nature itself, culture, like, you know, like when society itself is, do you know what I mean? Like when it comes to like even trends, like when it comes to like fashion trends, things will forever show up.
Can I tell you a concept that Karl Marx also spoke about? It's called historical materialism. And that basically argues that history repeats itself over and over again. Forever. And his idea of that is that there are weak people, there are strong people. The weak overpower the strong. Everybody is more or less happy almost, but everyone's trying to work with themselves. He advocated for communism. And then what happens is, out of that, everybody being okay, a strong emerges again. Then the weak overcomes the strong. Then the cycle repeats itself. And I think that definitely comes into play in everything else, like what you mentioned. Fashion trends coming back. There's always going to be a recession. And also, have you been seeing all these TikToks about recession indicators? Have you been seeing this? I find that so interesting.
I find it so, but you know what it is? People are now starting to use it out of context.
Yeah.
Everything.
I hate when that
a
happens.
recession.
And it's just like, guys,
please,
you're ruining it.
Please, you're ruining it.
You're ruining it. And it's just like, that is so interesting because in 2008 there was a recession. I'm pretty sure years before that there was a recession.
Honestly, yeah, one of the most interesting things, like when I have conversations with my mom and she's like, oh, you know, back in the day she used to come from Lagos to London with like what, £20.
Sorry.
And I think,
mommy,
please, now let's just go back in time.
Do you know what £20 would do today?
What? Can you imagine?
Will you even get from point A to point B?
Can I even use £20 in London?
No, you can't. I'm telling you that now for a fact.
Do you know what I mean? So
by the time you tap your card for one train, the £20 gone.
It's gone. So it's like, it's scary to be living through it now.
Yeah.
But I think people need to realize, like, we've played these games before.
Yeah.
We might not have, but these games have been played before. Like, do you know what I mean?
That said, I have a question. Why do we never learn our lesson? Like, as the human race, like, we know we have history books, we have economics, like we have all of these studies. Why do we not learn?
Help me ask them all.
Because, you know, I can't have a clue. I don't know, because I feel like personally, if it was me, surely we'll make change. Like, I don't know. I think maybe it's all part of the plot for the man at the top anyway.
It has to
keep these people in a cycle.
1,000%. 1,000%. Especially when you see like the structures that have been put in place to literally. It's like, you know, when you is it fireflies or one of them insects that you keep them in a jar? Yeah. You keep them in the jar for, I think, for a couple of days. You take the jar off and they still fly in that circle. That's exactly what's happening to society and humankind.
Like, and that's the thing. And I think that analogy is so beautiful because the lid coming off for me is literally that advancement and gaining of knowledge. However, despite you gaining the knowledge, despite you knowing that, you know, you're free to go, you're trapped.
There's only so much you can actually do. Yeah. There is actually, but I think very few will stray away from the jar. Yeah, I think it is possible.
But what happens to them? Those who stray away from the jar. This is like Plato's analogy of the cave. This is so good. Have you heard of Plato's analogy of the cave? I'm going to run through it really quickly. Okay. Plato, old like philosopher, ancient guy, do you know what I mean? Yeah. He basically was an advocate for knowledge. Everyone needs to do intense philosophical study in order to be ethically good. Right. And he said, however, not everybody's going to make it. And that was so real of him because not everybody's going to make it. People like to sit in their ignorance. And he said, okay, imagine there's a cave. There are some people who were born in the cave. They like all they know in their life is the cave. They are facing the back of the cave. Right. The front of the cave is behind them. They're chained. So all they can see is a fire, which like casts shadows of people passing onto the wall. So they think that their life is the shadows on the wall. What they don't know is that real life is just a footstep away. Somebody, one of the cavemen, ironic, escape and they come back and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, like I can't lie, there's actually real life out there. These shadows have nothing, like this is not the real world. Outside is the real world. And they beat him up and kill him. And they stay in their shadow world, in their ignorance. And I think that's so telling. Like, few people escape, but what happens to those people who escape?
Exactly that.
Do you get ostracized.
You get ostracized. That's the truth about it.
And then you end up in that freedom by yourself. Do you really want to be free if you're lonely? I don't know. That's a very
real question. Yeah. Do you really want to be free? I think, especially even like circling back to religion, I think with the point that I am currently, which I'm like you said, like you're Christian right now, but in the future, I'm one person, I will never say never. I'm such, like, I think especially when you deconstruct, I think if you are to return back to structured religion, I personally don't see it in my future, but if you were, I think you take it from a different perspective. So I feel like, gosh, why have I lost track of what I was saying?
No, don't worry. I think I can tell you what you said. You were on the right lines. You were saying you wanted to bring it back to religion and the concept of deconstructing.
Right.
And for you personally, you wouldn't go back to religion. However, and then that's where
what was your point before?
Oh, my point was, so the cave, people escaping. Freedom or knowledge. That was good. We got there eventually. Yeah. Don't worry, you got this. You got this.
Essentially, I feel like once you deconstruct, it's like, even let's say like with let's say the dating world right now, it's like, bro, you go on, I'll see a piff thing, I'll figure out a bit of me. Yeah. Psalm 121 in the bio.
Right.
Cross. And it's like, it's not necessarily that I'm saying like, oh, it's a bad thing. Hey,
it's not
a bad thing. But I am very well aware of the fact of equally yoked.
Yeah.
Of, even me myself, like, I feel like, how much can we connect on a deeper level if we don't see eye to eye? And I think my I don't want to say lack of belief, because I still very much believe in God.
Yeah.
But my belief system dictates a lot about me and my identity.
Yeah.
So it's like, for that to be something, like you said, circling back again to the, like, would you really want that freedom if you're going to be alone?
Exactly.
So it's like, as much as like I'm not going to go back to Christianity because I'm a man, but do you know what I mean? It makes it difficult. It does make it difficult.
What that makes me think though is, I think in all honesty, it's about the person. Not even to sound subjective, it depends on the person. It's not that it depends on the person. It is about the person. It's about your character and how strong you are. And the way I perceive you, you're very strong-willed. Even the way you're talking, you're saying, I would never go back. I can't lie. Like, I'm very firm in my beliefs and I understand myself. I understand the outside world, which is the reason why I think for you, I don't want to project, so you can tell me if I can't, like, you don't eat that, you're wrong. But for me, I think you are the type of person to choose freedom
1,000%.
as opposed 1,000%. To having community.
And do you know what would have been different for me, between me and that caveman? I wouldn't have gone back.
He died.
I'm not going back to tell them.
So I was gonna say he's dead. Oh no, real, yeah.
I'm not going back to tell them.
Because it's about also knowing your company.
Right. I feel like as well, just being aware of the fact of, first of all, like, again, the cognitive dissonance in this world. I'm not, if I know it's a tough crowd, I'm not speaking to it. What? I see the freedom.
Let me just say something very quickly, because no one should get it twisted. It's not that you're afraid of being wrong necessarily. I'm pretty sure you're open to constructive criticism. It's not that you're hard-headed and you don't want to listen to what other people have to say. When Emma says a tough crowd, she's talking about those people who, you are the hard-headed ones. You are the ones who are not able to open your ears and open your mind and absorb something that is contrary to what you believe and still be firm in your own belief. And that is the struggle, that is the worry, that's the problem.
What she said.
There are certain people out here who I'm not even going to bother having a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
There is no point.
I don't even, I just shut down. Genuinely.
Do you know what that just made me think of? Because, wait, let me let you finish what you're going to say.
That's it. I just shut down.
Okay. What I was going to say is that makes me think of, because I want to move on to like culture and like generational trauma and like intergenerational conversations. In the same way, to some people, it's like, I'm not even going to have this conversation with you. not recently, but I think my friend was telling me about how on TikTok people are saying, "Oh, have a conversation with your African parents."
About
have
what?
a conversation with your wait.
Sorry.
About what?
About what?
She said, have a conversation with your African parents. If they offended you, or if they harmed you in the past, have a conversation. And in my head, it's like, you guys don't understand. There's an age, personally, I'm open to someone changing my mind about this though. There's an age that I think it gets to where there is nothing that you can do. There is no amount of conversation that will get 2 generations on the same page, especially one generation which grew up completely and wholeheartedly in Africa. Some of our parents grew up in the village, and then me, who has been westernized, who lives in the UK, I have all this work lingo. I should talk to my dad, I should talk to my mom about generational trauma, etc.
Do you know what it is? I kind of I don't know. I'm kind of like on the fence with this.
Please give me, like, I want to change my mind.
Yeah, do you know what it is? I feel like, okay, so my brother would say that, you know, like, you can't teach an old dog new tricks. But essentially, I don't know, because growing up, once he told me that, I was kind of like, okay, then I just won't like bother like kind of expressing how I feel and things like that. But because it's me, my mum, you know, short biography, me and my mum live alone and my siblings are in America.
Oh, wow.
So it's kind of like, he was so quick to just be like, yeah, no, you know, like, sympathize with her in a sense of like, understand like you guys have grown up in 2 different generations, 2 different places, cultures, everything. But then I just could not, I wanted to give her the chance. Yeah. You know, I think it's fair enough for you to acknowledge the fact that, like, you know, they have different perspectives in life, but I would want to, I'd like in the future for my children to be able to come to me, regardless of the fact that, you know, you're obviously not going to grow up in the same generation as your children. Yeah. But at the same time...
Oh, please don't. Like, I don't know what... sorry.
But do you know what I mean, though? So it's like, they're going to be the same way that our parents are, like, new to these things. We're going to be new to... I always think, God, what are our children going to be doing? Because what we're doing right now is bad. Yeah. So what are our children going to be doing? So it's like, I want to think that I would want to, you know, listen. And surprisingly, I've been my mom has made a lot of progress.
Do you know what?
A lot of progress.
I can hold space with that.
Yeah.
And shockingly, I think so have my parents.
Yeah.
I think I'm going to just really hold space with what you said, which is give them the chance.
Give them the chance.
Don't just assume that, oh, yeah, because they're older or etc. They're not going to, you know, hear what you have to say. Give them the chance.
And there's guys, if you want me to listen, there's techniques with it. You know, you got to do it a certain way. There's you know, you speak, you kind of like, you have to shape and articulate your way, your words, the way you know it will land.
They'll be receptive to
you know,
it.
you need to, especially if you need to keep repeating yourself. Yeah. If it's something that you need to give analogies. Like me, one thing I would do is I would gag a person. Like if we're having a conversation and you say one thing that's like, I'm gonna say, Mom, listen, you said on the 28th of December, you said, and she will be very much
gagged. Yeah.
You know, and it's like, if that's what you need to keep doing to kind of like make it. I've gotten to the point, bro, the last time me and my mom had an argument, she was in the wrong and she came and apologized. I said,
wait, in what way? Oh, am I hearing right? Are we in the right
I
position?
Said, where's my mother? What did you do with her?
She's right there in front of you. That's the lady that you had a conversation
and
with.
And she's always been there.
Yeah.
But if I didn't give her a chance in the sense of old dogs, I would have never known.
I feel like the mentality that I had just then was very individualistic, very Western, if I may. In that it's like, you're so quick, like, it's just about you, innit? You're just so quick to let go of your home and your family. Why? Because they're not hearing you. So make them hear, make them understand.
And do you know what is as well? I think you should always treat people like children.
First.
You should always treat people like children. And I think especially when it comes to our parents, you should understand that when you're having these conversations about these generational traumas and this, that, and the third, you're not talking to them. You're talking to the child.
Wow.
In your mother. You know, it's not the 50-year-old mom. It's not the 40-year-old mom.
I can't lie, that was deep.
It's the 9-year-old girl that got hurt by her parents that is now projecting onto you. So what you're doing right now by healing you or trying to change her mind for you, you're also healing her. Yeah. So whatever conversation, it should never be out of anger in a sense of like, look, what are you doing to me? It's like, it's more of like I understand this is what was done to you, and that's the way you know. But right now, I'm telling you, this is not how you do it.
I don't like it.
Let's change it together.
Can we?
You know,
can we work together?
Let's work together. That's so
good.
You know, and I feel like that's exactly. I'm so proud of her. Honestly, think about this now. I'm honestly so proud of my mom.
Shout out to mommy.
She's listened.
Yeah.
It wasn't easy.
I think that's what got me.
It wasn't easy.
I'm remembering the years and years of, in my head, it's just like, you're not listening to me. Like, you're actually not listening to me. But now that I think about it, it's genuinely because of age. Because at that age, a lot of parents in their head is like, I know best, which they probably do. So it's like, whatever you're telling me, even if it's from a place of reason, I'm not really going to hear it. Get up, pack your bag, go to school, come back, get your education. But right now, because I think it's the age that we're at as well.
Right.
It's a point in life where they know that we can walk out
right.
at any point that we choose.
Right.
I think it's also a feeling of fear and a feeling of distance makes the heart grow fonder. Have you gone to uni by any chance?
No, someone on gap year. Okay. I've been at.
No, we had this conversation actually.
Yeah.
But what I realized is my relationship with my parents, and I think my siblings as well, got stronger when I went to uni.
When you guys were apart.
Yeah. And I think maybe they missed me or something.
Oh my God, where is he then?
And it was just like, everything that you said, it hit home. I can't lie. I'm so glad that you said that. It really opened my eyes. Oh, that was really emotional.
Have I changed your mind?
Yeah. If I was like a sentimental person, like maybe there'll be a tear in the eye or something. What you said was really powerful, genuinely. But that just leads me to something else called the genetic fallacy.
Okay.
The genetic fallacy basically says, okay, let me try my best. The genetic fallacy is basically this concept where you appeal. No, that's not what it is. That's appeal to authority. It's basically like, how do I? Okay. You know the argument that's like, oh, this is the way we've always done it. That's why we have to keep doing it. That's the genetic fallacy.
Right.
So this is something that's very prominent in culture and tradition. So you have to marry X because this is how we've always done Y. You have to make sure you greet W because Z. So it's just like, how do we, I think the question I want to ask is, how do we preserve our tradition and our culture without sitting in cycles, basically, is what I'm trying to talk about. Because some of these things are really painful.
1,000%. 1,000%. I think this ties into almost everything that we've spoken about. Blind obedience and unlearning. I think it's very much so like being able to acknowledge the positive aspects of your culture, of your identity, of the things that you've been told do X, Y, Z because of, you know, whatever. But also then be able to acknowledge the ones that aren't, you know, aren't good. I feel like as well, when it comes to, you know, do this, that, and the third, one thing that I would say, which is again circling back to my first answer of it should be more so on unpacking than unlearning. So in a sense of like, let's say there's a certain culture, there's a certain thing that, you know, you've been told, oh, to do. One thing that our parents love doing or our culture loves doing is, you know, saying do this, that, and the third without a reasoning. Yeah,
you know, what is the reason?
There's no reasoning. So I feel like when it comes to that, instead of it being more so of like you going into it with unlearning, it should be more so of an unpacking. So then it's for you to then unpack that and realize, okay, the reason why my mum has always told me for these years to go and dobale when I see this uncle is because it's this, that, and the third in culture, and still being able to preserve that and appreciate that. But then again, being able to, let's say now, of when, I don't know, let's say like a bad culture of like, you know, when uncles are coming around, go and change your shorts. Unpack that, understand that, you know.
Why do you think that is, mother?
Right. So after we unpack that, that's the one that should be unlearned. Do you know what I mean? So it's now a first step of like an unpacking, acknowledging, oh, this is the reason why this was told to me. Is this reason good? Yes or no? Then we proceed.
At the end of the day, culture actually evolves, culture changes. So maybe this is just our contribution to the movement of that culture and that tradition. Because we're not saying that we should completely get rid of everything that is practiced. It's more so understanding the structures behind what created some of these practices. Because before colonialism, sorry to, you know, bring up the, you know,
the elephant in the room.
So before that happened, there were definitely practices that our ancestors actually partook in, but they don't anymore because of colonialism. And it's just like, it's okay.
It's actually okay.
It's okay.
It's actually right.
To let go of some things.
Yeah.
It's okay to hold on to other things. And it's just, wow. The journey of the conversation has just really brought me. This is a lot. But I'm just thinking about not necessarily wrapping it up, but bringing it to a close.
Okay.
So I'm just, I've divided the concept of beliefs into different bullet points, and I just want to ask you, I don't know, thoughts on what the different ones are.
Okay.
If that makes sense. So first of all, we have beliefs that are not self-generated. Okay. So beliefs that, as we mentioned before, that are absorbed. So now we can begin to talk about patriarchy and misogyny.
Yeah.
And if you like, even homophobia to some extent. And it's like, because of the way the structures of society exist, we internalize these beliefs even when we actively do not want to partake in them.
1,000%.
Do you know what I mean?
1,000%.
Wow.
I think and internalized misogyny as well. I even called myself out on it the other day. Yeah. I was speaking to a friend about like doing finance, right? And I was like, oh, but that's just it's such a masculine thing to do. And he was like, why?
You have to just wait, hold on.
I said, oh.
And why is that?
I said, I literally typed it out. I said, do you know what? You got me there.
Yeah.
You got me there. And I think a lot of things, like, again, we just do it passively.
Yes.
Because when you realize how deeply indoctrinated these things are into our being, it's like, it's fair enough. But then it's like, it's not then for us to then be like, oh, yeah.
Like, what can I do?
What can I do? Oh. No, we can acknowledge that. And then it's now. Okay, let's change. Let's do better.
100%. This is actually, I don't remember what it's called, but this is something that's mentioned in like the philosophy of feminism and the philosophy of race. I don't know, maybe I'll put it in the description or something. But it's just basically what you said, which is at least acknowledge the biases that you have.
Right.
It's called implicit biases.
Right.
Acknowledge the implicit biases that you have or that you could have.
Right.
Knowing about the structures in society. Right. And basically, the scholars in that body of work basically argue that at this point in time, you have no excuse.
Absolutely not.
You know, you have no excuse.
Absolutely
Back in the day when all of this knowledge wasn't as accessible to people, granted, you grew up in a racist household, you grew up around racist people, you're in a racist city, all you know is that city. So to you, that's facts. To you, that's common sense. And I think there's a scholar who argues that common sense is whatever is the most believed thing at that time. And I think that's so cool. His name is Antonio Gramsci. Okay. Just, you know, for the people listening, if they want to go and keep doing research there. But what was I saying? Yes. I was saying something, but anyway. Yeah, it's about acknowledging your implicit biases and working on yourself, basically. The next one is inherited versus chosen belief systems, which is what we were talking about. Just to touch on it again, religion, religious beliefs, the structures that we choose to follow.
I think it's about questioning again, the blind obedience. It's kind of just like with me as well. I've just always been such an inquisitive child, so it's kind of like, and do you know what it is? So without rambling, I think there were just certain aspects of like Christianity that is like, you've told me, okay, no sex before marriage. Yeah, but why? Yeah, you know why? Okay, oh, your body is a temple. Marriage is for God. But why? Like, what does that mean? You know, like I can keep asking why, and I feel like with me deconstructing, I think it was more so a point of like I got there and then I was like, oh, okay, so clearly that's BS. Like in spirituality, that you don't need to, you know, you could do all of that. Yeah. But then again, it was now another further point. It's like, okay, cool. I've now had to sit with myself and realize that reason for myself. Yeah. You know, so it's not even with giving yourself excuses of like, oh yeah, it's because pastor said so. I can now tell you, if someone was to ask me, okay, why are you abstinent? I can give you an answer, a very logical answer that has no further whys. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So nice. I think it's more so, there's nothing inherently wrong with inherited beliefs. Yeah. But it's more so being able to be so like, you know, very. You
need to know why you believe what you believe. Basically,
right.
That's
further than what other people told you. You know,
it's not just because my mummy told me so. That's why. The church said so. Right. That's why.
Yeah, you know.
What am I supposed to do with that? Make it make sense. Use logic. I like that. Yeah, I think I really agree. The next type of belief that I think is here is like psychological inheritance. So generational trauma,
schemas and stuff.
Yes. Basically. any thoughts, any contribution? Because that's the thing. Some of these are conversations in and of themselves. So
Yeah,
much.
do you know what it is? I feel like this one especially, it's so, again, with the, you know, with people not taking accountability and just being like, but then again, I feel like a lot of things show up in ways that aren't like direct. I don't know if that makes sense. So it's like, you know, let's say like if you have like avoidant parents and then it shows up in like your character and like your friendships in a specific way. So I feel like sometimes people don't know necessarily what to look for because having an avoidant parent might not necessarily make you an avoidant person, but it might affect how you react to certain things. There might be certain things in your characteristics that is attributed to that avoidance. Do you know what I mean? So I think it's just, schemas are very, I could ramble on about schemas. It's just more so being able to sit with yourself, sit with yourself with that. And I think, again, not enough people do that. You know, honestly, it's not, I think enough.
That's one thing that the audience can take away.
Not enough people do that. It's people are afraid of silence. People are afraid of their own thoughts, company. Of your own thoughts. No, it's kind of,
don't make me launch into another one. Because I have so much to say on that. Oh no, I'm so sad that we have to wrap this up literally in the next 5 minutes. Because I don't know, we need to do another episode.
We have to. There's gonna have to be a part 2.
Oh, I don't know. We'll talk about that.
Yes.
Just to leave the audience on like a moving note, I guess. When we look at the question again, can we ever truly unlearn what made us? The question that I had really, which remember at the start I was like, I don't know if I really completely agree. The reason why was because of what I'm about to say.
Okay.
I'm just thinking, can we ever unlearn what made us, or is the act of trying to the point? And even if it is just about trying to, is there really a point? I hope that makes sense.
If it is just about trying,
like, what's the point?
But what is a point?
Wow.
But what is a point?
I love that. That was so
Word
philosophical.
to Lauryn Hill, nothing even matters.
Yeah.
Nothing even matters. So the point is what you make it.
Yeah.
The point is what you make it. I think that the effort in itself or the acknowledgement in itself, whatever your journey is, I think as long as you acknowledge that it's not linear, it's not going to look like next man's journey, you're doing it for you yourself.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't want to say, you know what the finish line looks like, because there isn't a finish line.
You're right.
What is the point?
Yeah.
It's just life. That's another thing. We don't know what we're doing.
Yeah. And I guess it's just, we are trying to make it more bearable.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So it's kind of just like whatever helps you to function to your greatest, like, you know, congruence as an individual. That's it. Yeah. That's it. As long as you're not, you know, you're a good person. Yeah. You're not bothering anybody. Live life.
I agree.
But yeah.
Thank you so much for that. Thank you so much for everything that you've actually said on this episode.
It was so good.
No. I'm so glad you had.
We need 3-hour podcast.
Yeah, we need 4 or 5. We need 4 or 5 break in between. Like, honestly, we can actually sit there for 24 hours and we'll still figure out. Like, it's basically been an hour already.
That's crazy.
And I feel like we haven't even touched on everything that we could have. This felt very and what's crazy is we didn't even really go on tangents. We spoke about everything that we wanted to talk about. However, there just wasn't enough time to go as deep as we wanted to.
Deeper.
Yeah.
It's very
and
deeper.
It's so thought provoking as well. I'm so glad I was able to get you on the podcast and just, you know, talk up the things. Talk up the things and just, you know, bring your opinion, because your thoughts are so interesting and it's good to like see that play out, see your thought process as opposed to just like a 1 minute video that seems like you're just talking at me. It doesn't seem like you're talking at me. I understood what you said, but for the other people who you're now in the comments, you have a lot to say. It just seems, you know, just talking. But I'm gonna ask you if you have anything else that you want to say to leave the audience with anything.
Do I have anything else without going on a tangent? Because there's so much. Literally. I think I really appreciate the fact that the question was on culture, on identity, because I think that is such a massive, well, for us as Black British youth, I think that is such like a massive topic that like we should all be focusing on.
Yeah.
People should be focusing on finding themselves as individuals. You know, as much as I think, you know, individualism, no, like, you know, but at the same time, I think the clan mentality.
No. Yeah, especially when there are so many systems that you can subscribe to. You need to just find yourself. Basically.
I
like that. Guys, make sure to follow Emma at
emma.mku, emma.mku.
Nice. On TikTok?
On all socials.
On everything. Amazing. So that's TikTok. That's nice, Instagram. Do you have Twitter, by the way?
I don't use it.
Yeah, me neither.
Yeah.
But
what is an X?
It was an X. Anyway, what's an X?
Please, Elon Musk, he scares me.
Oh my God.
The app itself scares me.
Anyway, guys, this was great. Thank you so much for tuning in. Hopefully Emma will be back. Who knows?
Yes, I have to be.
See you in the next one. Bye.